A cardboard box arrived in Chester's cage on a Tuesday. It was plain, it was brown, it was waiting. Chester sniffed it once. Then the sound began. Scritch, 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 scritch. Chester did not look up. He had work to do.
First, Chester chewed a door. It was chewed, very precise, clean edges, exact size, just right for a hamster who knew what he wanted. Next came the back window, also chewed, also very precise. Chester stepped back and looked at it. He did not celebrate. He simply moved on. Rustle, rustle. Inside the box, newspaper became a small, soft room. Chester arranged it just so. Chester sat on his porch and surveyed the territory.
Then Chester did something remarkable. He carried soft bedding outside the door. Pat, 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 pat. He arranged it in a small, flat pile, right there, outside, in front of the door. This was the porch. Chester had built a porch. The hamster wheel sat untouched in the corner. Chester did not explain this. He sat down on his porch. He folded his paws. Chester sat on his porch and surveyed the territory.
That night, the house grew quiet. The cage light went dim. Chester stood in his doorway. He was not chewing. He was not moving. He just looked out at the dark room beyond the cage. Finn was asleep upstairs. The whole house was still. Chester stood there for a long moment, checking that the world was still there. It was. Chester sat on his porch and surveyed the territory.
Finn watched very carefully for several days. He crouched low beside the cage. His nose almost touched the glass. He watched Chester on the porch. He watched Chester in the small newspaper room. He watched Chester ignore the wheel completely. Finn watched very carefully, and he took this very seriously. He had findings to report.
Finn walked to the kitchen. His parents sat at the table. Mom held her mug. Dad had his eyebrows raised, ready. Finn stood very straight. Chester built a house, Finn said. Dad raised one finger. Chester is a house, said Dad. He looked very pleased with this. Finn stared at Dad. Finn did not understand this. Mom looked over at the cage. She looked at the porch. She looked at the chewed, very precise door. Finn is right, she said quietly.
Back in the cage, Chester did not know about any of this. He was on his porch. His paws were folded. The chewed, very precise door was behind him. The territory spread out ahead. Chester sat on his porch and surveyed the territory. He did not need anyone to understand. He had a porch, he had a view. That was enough.
Finn watched very carefully from the other side of the glass. Chester did not look back. He was busy surveying. The hamster wheel sat untouched in the corner, chewed door behind him, soft porch beneath his paws. Chester, the architect. Chester, the homeowner. Chester, who had been given a plain cardboard box and made it into exactly the right thing. Chester sat on his porch. World in order.